Hello.
Words.
Modelling for advantage.
He's gone mute. Hello and welcome.
Hello and welcome. I'm the Restless Kaiser.
I'm Johnny B.
I'm James Workshop.
I'm Skarnir.
But together we are
Modelling for advantage. Great little moment there.
Fun, wasn't it?
Froze up on my end completely, but I could still hear these guys talking. So I was like, is it showing me? Is it not? Right, we'll have a quick scour through the comments there. So Axe and Axe is at work, but he's going to catch the rerun. Josh Wood is here. Hello, Team Clueless Games. Rosie Raccoon in Fluffing the Boys pre-show. Very useful. Thank you, Rosie. What's everyone working on? We're going to get to that, Rosie. Team Clueless Games working on Cursed City models still. Oh, they do look really nice. Did you get that in the end, James?
Lucky. I did not. I was incredibly sad not to get a copy.
Oh, because you're quite into the, not Black Star, what's it called? Black Fortress. You played that, didn't you?
Yeah. I like all the new Warhammer Quest games. Blackstone Fortress I played a bunch. Silver Tower I played a bunch. Didn't get this one, even though it was the one I wanted the most.
Team Clueless Games getting back to his Orcs. We're going to talk about Orcs. Skarnir is a bit of an Orc for Rosie Raccoon. Team C, I think many of us can relate to not doing as much hobby as we would like. Yeah, absolutely. Who else we got in here? Alid is here. Evening, Rosie. Yay! I think everyone should have bunting in their lives. Perhaps you should be reading that comment, John. I'm not sure.
What's that?
Something about
Evening,
bunting.
Rosie. I think everyone should have some bunting in their lives.
Right. Okay. Friends of General Haig. Ahoy there. Icy Fence. I don't recognize that. One of these days I'll actually paint my miniatures. Mate, that day's got to come. It's if you don't do it, that's on you. I'm not criticizing you, but once you start, you won't look back. The immersion of the game is so much improved if you paint your minis, no matter how badly. It really is. You stop being focused on the rules and start being focused on the experience, I think. But anyway, I'm pontificating. MFA Bunting Challenge.
That really took off, didn't it?
Here. Hello, peeps. Lots of people are here. All right, I'm going to stop reading these comments, I'm afraid. Just looking for who's here. Alacrity P. Howdy all. Good evening. Oh, mate, all the names. Joseph Haduchek, I want to say. Hopefully I got that right. Subcommandante 73. We are yodeling for advantage.
Somebody's been watching some adverts.
Phil Papercut, evening. Matt Capelli, hello there. All the members in tonight. And Tony Tiger. We will, of course, this evening be doing a draw for our 2,000 subscriber giveaway. Can I get this up right? Band of Brothers. Somebody's going to get it. I did lie to you because I said it was going to draw it out of a Modelling for Advantage mug. That's a Modelling for Advantage mug. That, however, is the number of entries we've had for the live draw. So we're going to do it out of the box. Wow. And next time we do a draw, we might have to investigate an electronic solution. But I kind of like the natural, hand in a box, rummage about.
Get some Modelling for Advantage stickers and you can just scale up the box on which you stick a sticker.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's a thing. So modeling this evening then, while we're doing this, we made an important pre-show discovery here, which is that apart from James, we all have a tiger in front of us. There's my tiger. It's the Flames of War 1. John, you got a tiger? Look at that. Hey, Skarnir, tiger? James, you going to join Club Tiger?
Not quite. Left out as always.
Oh, Mrs. Kaiser doesn't like the paper system for the draw. Yeah, my missus put the child to bed about an hour ago, and since then has just sat by the printer cutting these up and folding them in her nightie. Thinking like there was a lot less to do last time. She wrote them out by hand last time. This time, Hobby Gate is here and Subcommandante. MFA Pint Glass.
Yeah, the MFA Bierstein.
So in terms of the modeling, while we're doing the chatting tonight, of course, I'm going to be working on some Flames of War for the Panzer Grenadier Division. These are the SDK said 250s, the little ones. Some of them have even got some crew inside, so I'm going to put the camouflage pattern on, maybe even paint the crew uniforms. probably not get anywhere tonight with that. John, what are you up to?
Currently, I've taken the little inbuilt metal bases off of these random dwarfs from North Star, but I'm going to do some dry brushing. Yeah, man, they're lovely. They're oathmark dwarfs, but I thought I'd get some for random adventurers. And that's it. I might paint a willy or two. Depends on how far I get.
Painting willies coming up later.
What about
I'm
you, James?
continuing to work on my summer Soviets. More tanks. Keeps going.
Are they Flames of War ones or bolt action?
This is Flames of War, yeah. This is tiny. Well, because they're giant tanks, they look weirdly scaled. But no, this is 15 millimeter. They're just really big ISUs.
Right.
And what are we up to, Sir?
Nice.
I am going to be priming up some of the older sort of early 90s, late 80s models of the some battle mechs. So I'm going to be priming some of them. I have a lot more here, some new ones as well. So I'll be busy with that.
Sweet. Some Rail Parther is that there? Was it
Yeah,
Rail Parther?
Rail Parther sculpts. I found a job lot of them, and I was well chuffed. You know.
Yoink. Well, anyways, in a moment you're going to tell everybody who you are and what you do. Now, me personally, I already know who you are. You're the arsehole on TV.
That's the one. And don't you forget it. Yeah, I'm Skarnir or Dwayne. It depends if you know me from like the Orc community. I'm mostly known as Skarnir or other communities, Dwayne. So either or, it doesn't bother me. And I have the Pastic Craic gaming channel, which is, it's a play on words. Crack is an Irish word. It's sort of like, fun. You know what I mean? Like, what's the crack? It'd be like, what's up? Or crack agus kill. You know what I mean? If you're having a good time, if you went to the pub and, you were having great banter, you'd say the crack was 90 or whatever, that sort of thing. So play on words with, Pastic Craic because we're into miniatures and, I'm Irish. So I thought I'd have a laugh with it. But yeah, I'm big into 40k Orcs. I've been dabbling with them for a long time now, since about like 2008. Been into Games Workshop stuff since I was a wee lad, since 97. And I've gone a bit mad on the old Battletech, as you can tell lately. I've been dipping my toe severely into that one. So that's a lot of what you'll get on my channel. It'll be 40k Orcs and a lot of Battletech. And I tend to do a stream on a Sunday evening around 9 p.m. until 11. Hobby hangouts. I've had various guests on, the Kaiser being one, and
you have some amazing guests on that show, mate.
So some absolutely smashing guests, mate. Some absolutely smash ones, and that's me. Like, I'm dabbling with games and having a bit of fun. You know yourself.
There you go.
Very
so
nice.
the Battletech we're seeing there, because you've gone a bit fizzy for Battletech, haven't you? I know.
I've gone mad for it. Mental.
You've Kickstarter victim, aren't you?
Yeah, see, I have a friend who really sort of, he's a sucker for Kickstarter. So I was using him as a lesson to kind of shy away from them. But I've waned away from 40k a bit. I'm not as invested in the game as I have been previously, and I was looking for something to get into, and I dabbled with Battletech. I really liked the rule set, but the old plastics, I'll see if I have any on the desk here that my mates have given me a lend of. I may not, but the old plastics are shocking. Like, they're like something you'd get out of those little dispenser machines where you get a bit of bubble gum and a cheap mech. You know what I mean? They were absolutely shocking. So the models weren't great, and then this latest era of mechs that they brought out, these plastics, they're pre-assembled. They're really nicely sculpted. They're pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the final decision for me to go mad into Battletech. Was the nice sculpts, and they're a lot easier to get your hands on. It's not too expensive. You know what I mean? You buy a Lance pack. I think it's about 20 quid. 4 mechs. There you go. Hours of fun. Sorted. You know what I mean?
And because James and I have had a bit of a peek into this. We were tempted to try a bit. What's interesting about Battletech is if like me, and I'm sure many people, you played it 30 years ago, the game is still very familiar to you. It's not exactly the same, but it's very, very similar.
Yeah, it's from talking, like, I think I discovered it in the late 2000s, like 2007 or something like that. But like I said, I didn't jump on board because I wasn't too impressed with the miniatures or the access to the miniatures at the time.
Right.
But for me, even talking to the veteran players, it's like if someone played it back in the late 80s, early 90s, the core of the game is still familiar enough. You know what I mean? There's obviously it's been refined. Any of the additions tend to be like they've added in the errata or the FAQ. They don't throw the baby out with the bath water.
Warhammer
other games, you know,
again.
Yeah, you get me. But it's a good gaming system. I really enjoy it. It's a bit more gritty than some of the current systems, but I like that about it. You know what I mean? But you know, there's various ways to play it. They have an Alpha Strike version, which is kind of more what folks would be used to if you were playing 40k. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Right. But that's more intended as a quick play mass battle system.
Yeah. It's more of a mass battle and a quicker play style of game.
By gritty, you mean like granular, like the rules are really intense kind of thing.
Yeah,
there's a lot of rules for everything.
That's the thing with Battletech is you can go as in-depth as you want. It's a very strange concept. Like myself coming from 40k and Warhammer, you're kind of used to the rules and the sort of core rule book, and that's all people use. But with Battletech, it's it's kind of a different kind of culture, the mentality of it, where there's the main rules, but you're encouraged to sort of make the game your own. So there's a lot of additional rule books that you can get, and they're sort of bolt in and swap out as you want. So you can kind of make the game your own, but it's the same. You can go as granular and in detail with the game mechanics as you want, but you don't have to. You know what I mean? But the options are there, and it's facilitated for you, which is what I really like. Like when people play Battletech, they most people play with mechs. But I'm like I'm using that as a total combat system. So I've got myself like tanks and hovercraft and troop transports. So you can buy troops and aircraft, and there's even rules. There's rule books for that you can buy that give you examples of how to design your own vehicles, so you can make your own vehicles and that sort of thing. Like there's a lot to it if you want to go super deep, but you don't have to. You can just play with the mechs, and that's what I like about it. It is what you want it to be.
That sounds excellent.
It's in Icy Fence here saying how easy it is to get Battletech. They even have it at Barnes and Nobles. I think that's one of the things that a lot of people are starting. I don't know whether it's because there's a gap in the market in terms of, but these places, Barnes and Nobles, we don't really have them in the UK, but they sell books and newspapers and stuff like that. But I wonder whether it's people trying to get into that Hero Quest vibe, because that was one of the reasons that was so successful was it was very mainstream. Your mum would buy it from W.H. Smith's for you for Christmas because she'd seen an advert on the TV. It wasn't like a niche thing. It had a real mainstream component because it was in those mainstream places. And I noticed, so like that Battletech starter set, if you were interested, I'm sure it was less than 20 quid he played for that, for 2 mechs and some basic rules to sort of get you in the game. But Warhammer keep doing these Barnes and Nobles like mini game releases, don't they? Like cut down versions of them.
They have done previously,
They do, and they're not available over here, and I cry because there's some beautiful miniatures in some of their sets.
They did have a really short run in game where they were doing like older models. They did Orcs and Space Marines from like 3rd edition starter box Space Marines.
I think it was like because the Orc players are mad into it. I think it was the Assault on Black Reach was 5th edition, and they rebranded and packaged it as the Battle of Vedros. Obviously I'm not an Orc player. I didn't know what was going on there at all. It was interesting.
And they did that through Revell, didn't they? So I don't know whether they just sold on the sculpts and that sort of as a mini license or something.
Ooh. I did know that once because I knew someone who worked at Game who spoke to me a bunch about it, but I don't really remember anymore. They were subcontracting through a contract kind of thing. It was a really odd run.
Yeah. Good. But I mean, it's interesting because I think we talked about this before about Hero Quest and what is for kids today breaking into the hobby. What is that gateway game, if you will, for sort of 8 to 12-year-old kids that want to do science fiction and fantasy board games?
Fortnite.
Well, no,
Video
exactly,
games.
exactly. It's video games, and I think that's sort of a real shame. I think there is a gap for something like that, but I just don't think that it's Blood Bowl light or you know, which is I think what Games Workshop are trying to do.
No, legit, Fortnite. If they make Fortnite as a board game of some description or some sort of skirmish game for shits and giggles with the characters that are in there, I reckon that would open it right up, and they'd be like, "Oh look, there's a whole other world."
But it'd be kickstarted, so it'd be dead on release, right?
Oh yeah.
Stuart Hayes, the Mank Turner. So I thought it said the Manic Turner. I'm trying to work out what a Manic Turner is. Mank as in Isle of Man or Mank as in Mancunian? How does it compare to Adeptus Titanicus, Skarnir?
I've never played Adeptus Titanicus. So
well, there you go.
The two of them have obvious comparisons with either like wound charts and weapon charts. And
there's damage charts. There's sheets. Hold on, and I'll grab one there. There are each mech has a sheet. It's interesting in that it's a sci-fi game, but it's kind of also a historical game at the same time because the lore has stretched over time, and people have the player bases have actually played through these events. So, if you talk to more veteran players, they'll be able to tell you, oh, I was in high school when this happened, and I was in college when that event happened, and I remember playing through it. You know what I mean? So the player base have played through a lot of it. But there's it's kind of like a historical in that there's different technology levels in different eras of the game. So it's a sci-fi game, but you can pick what era you're playing in, which is kind of like a historical game. You know what I mean? It's got a lot of things going on. You wanted me to show you a mech sheet. Hold on.
It sounds like back when about 12 or 13 years ago when I got into D&D 3.5, and as deep as you want to go is how far you can go. It just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah. So there's some mechs. So this is one of the mechs.
Big screen.
Oh yeah, let's get him on the big screen so people can see this mighty sheet with many dots on it.
Wow.
This is like an assault
mech.
Yeah, it's kind of like a character sheet. You'll have one of these for each of your mechs if you're playing the classic versions, and it'll tell you everything you need to know. And it's about tracking the damage, but it's all in front of you. So it's like your armor obviously on the outside, and then as the damage goes internal, or you get a critical hit, and then you have your table for your critical components, whatever. But that's an assault mech, so it has lots of dots. Whereas like lighter mechs, you know what I mean? If you want a quicker game, they don't have half as much. They can't take as much damage, but they rely on maneuverability to avoid being hit and that sort of thing. But it's all there. Everything you need to play the game is all there in front of you.
It's one of those systems where it's really simple once you know this 100 things that you need to know. One of those kind of games.
Yeah, but you don't have to go flicking through. You know what I mean? It's literally in front of you. That's what I like about it. Obviously there'll be it's that type of game system where everything is covered. So if you do have a situation that's not common, it's like, okay, well, I push your mech off of a skyscraper and it lands 7 stories down on top of some other guy's mech, sort of edge case stuff. You'll have to go flicking through and see what happens. But
because we're in Rules Edition 17 at this point, someone in 1989 thought, "Oh, what happens if that happens?" And we've still got it to this day.
This is what I mean. It's all.
That sounds good.
So one of the things for me is Subcommandante said here about hex maps. Needs a hex map. One of the biggest challenges would be for me in terms of playing it is to go from. We've invested quite a lot of time over the past year to kind of improve the quality of our wargaming play areas. Our scenery, our battlefields. John's reflocked some trees for our historicals because we weren't quite happy with them. We put a lot of time and effort into making our game beautiful. And going back to like a PVC hex map feels like it's a big step backwards.
That's what you need then.
Does it have to be? Can you not convert it like...
You can do conversions as well, but they have a product, the Battletech Alpha Strike Commanders. This is a hexless version of the game. This is the
hexless version.
Oh, really hexy.
It's larger units. You don't use the mech sheets that I was showing you there. Everything's streamlined down into smaller cards. So when you buy your Lance pack, I'll crack it open here. I haven't even opened this one. So when you buy your Lance pack, you'll
Free
have...
unboxing video, mate. Look at this.
Live
On the big
unboxing.
screen.
Oh, high quality.
Boom.
Ooh, that's what you get.
When you buy your Lance pack, so you buy your box, maybe it's 20 quid or whatever, depending on which store you get it off of. You're gonna get everything you need inside. So you'll have your mechs inside their little,
Not sponsored.
they're
by the way.
all pre-assembled. You don't have to glue them, but it's plastic. These ones you kind of chop them up and change them. But you can buy the mechs in metal, but they'll come with card sets. So there'll be like pilot cards that you can. They're an optional thing if you want. That gives you abilities.
For different drivers.
Yeah, for different pilots and different abilities. But they give you little sort of cards for Alpha Strike, and this is it. So for each mech, you have this card, and the amount of damage it takes. It's a lot more streamlined. It literally, each mech will have range brackets for their whole attacks.
Their entire weapons array, rather than saying I'm firing my particle cannon at this.
It's literally just a little card. It's not,
I'm quite intrigued by this.
A lot of stuff.
I'm back in. Yeah.
Oh, we will be doing that starter game now, won't we? Excellent.
No hexagons, so I can play on my beautiful board.
Winner, chicken
Because
dinner.
we've got scenery for 15 and 12 mil war games, which would be great for mechs. They look huge compared to those trees, and that's how you want them to look.
Yeah, you want them to be big. Like I was dabbling a little bit with terrain myself, trying to design some stuff in 3D printing for the hexes, but I've done that intentionally. But there are files out there if you know somebody, and you can just take them off hex bases, and the world's your oyster. The potential that we have now in Wargaming to do whatever you want, it's pretty open out there. It's crazy. Look,
Hero Quest for the win. Tony Horton says, Kaiser Alpha Strikers for you. Even I'm interested in this.
Yeah.
Not too, because I have dabbled myself with Battletech back in the day with Tony Carew or Bran Redmore, and it was. I just every time I used to try and do Death from Above, man. I was just all I wanted to do was drop my mech on his head.
And winning in 20 minutes or losing in 20 minutes, regardless, we're going to have fun.
that's it, man. Yeah.
Stuart Mank is Mancunian. Presumably you are mad for it then, mate.
Mad for it.
Mad for it. ES Taylor Brushcott says, it's my birthday weekend, so good time. I'm going to try and catch up on comments. So I'm going to be skimming through a little bit here. My pre-teen years. Try not to talk about those too much, although it's a late show. What did you do as a pre-teen, James? Wargaming.
What did I do last year? Playing a lot of video games.
We're about 30 minutes behind in the comments. Yeah. Hobbygate. Hello there. Still plenty to unbox. All right, Kaiser.
Oh, the second wave is to come. Yeah, Jesus.
Okay.
Oh wow.
This is stuff you've already paid for. Kaiser, Alpha Strike is for you. Yeah, I think this might be it. This
is the Alpha Strike compatibility in that starter box that we got, or are we going to play?
The starter box, you should have actually gotten pilot cards, I do believe. If you
we did,
box set.
I was busy looking for the most Russian one I could find.
So there would have been, and like even with the box sets, it's pretty like it sort of gives you a taste of the community behind it. It's not because there hasn't been a version of every mech made in the past. It's not a very WYSIWYG dependent community, so they're quite happy for you to proxy stuff as long as you're like, this is this, that's that, and they're happy enough. So that's part of the reason why you got cardboard punch outs. You know what I mean? You got cardboard mechs in there, so you could double your hands a little bit with some extra stuff. I'm trying to see if I.
There's a culture of kind of design your own 60-ton mech as part of that.
Yeah, but this is that's what I was saying about it. Is there is literally a rule book for every mech breaks down into a formula, and every unit in the game has a battle value, and literally they're all built off of a formula. So the game is actually very balanced, which is another thing that I rather enjoy about it. And then obviously the better the pilot in said machine, it increases the value. So, if you had regular guys, it'll be its base value. If you put in a more veteran player, he's going to multiply the value of that vehicle or mech, because obviously it'll perform better.
Okay. So what you need, James, is about 50 Jenners with inexperienced
50
pilots, and there you go. Jenners, yeah, a Jenner mech.
All right.
Or
Not
Locust.
Jenners.
Locust.
Whatever the hell that means, I'll get them painted. Don't worry.
I played Advanced Squad Leader using 15mm tanks in the early 80s. Mate, anybody who played Assault Squad Leader, Advanced Squad Leader and survived the experience was already a hero to me. I mean, I just looked at the manual and thought, no. I don't care how many people tell me this is supposed to be good. This is hard. It's too hard. Should we have a look at some pictures, people? Because we've got some things to talk about today. I think we can talk about we'll talk about Orcs separately. We'll do the other pictures first, if that's all right. So let me just set that up. It's a little bit of, you know, Games Workshop news, I'm afraid. For those of you that are not interested in that, that's what we're going to do for a moment there. So why have I put these up then, John? Tell us.
Because we both collect Imperial Guard, and we've pretty much completed our Imperial Guard armies. And then they bought these extra bits out, heads and special weapons, these and bits and bobs.
Look at that!
25 all additional heads, sir.
Look at all those heads.
Human heads. How cool is that?
And I would love that, but not at the price point to get an extra 10 Cadians.
Yeah, so interestingly, what they've said when they've released this is that there's not enough special weapons in the main infantry box. And that's, you know, really, there's people have to buy the commander box to get the special weapons, and they don't want it. So we're going to put this extra sprue in so you can really jizz up your main infantry squads, get your special weapons, got heads, but now they're charging an extra tenner for it.
£6.50, isn't it? Extra?
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it only
it's probably an extra €10. If it's £6.50 for you lads, it's at least a tenner for us.
400 darn dingo dollary dues. It's gonna be
poor Aussies.
But it's now, I think, is it now £30 for 10 Cadians?
£29 for 10 Cadians.
Oh,
kept it below the £30 mark.
That's, you know, Cadians are something you're going to need a lot of dudes.
But they're still going to sell the 5 for a $5 box, though, aren't they?
The Monopose ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you're going to have 25 heads for, so you can make them some
if you
alterations.
I'm quite surprised they didn't just bring this out as a separate sprue, right?
And just sell it
why did they not do that? Yeah.
A £10 sprue.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd do that.
Yeah. Well, because if you don't actually want this, if you're just trying to get your basic squads, you still have to buy this now.
Yeah.
Your 10 Cadian bodies now costs you more money.
Yeah, but you can sell it on, though. I suppose that's why they don't need to bring it out on a separate blister.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Maybe.
But, I mean, it's nice that they've provided some variety. I like the fact that they've done this as someone with a guard. I mean, I don't want them to change the Cadian basic dude model. I don't want to have to remake them all or whatever, or find. You know, we'll come to that with Orc Boys. So if they change the main model, I'm like, no, mate. What am I supposed to do with all these ones I've already got? So that's that. And the extra heads is such a great way of providing some customization.
Yeah, no, I really like it. I like the gas mask. Heads. I like the fact that there's female heads now. I like everything about what they've done, except the raising of the price, I guess. But I'm not really that concerned. £29 for 10 models is pretty much par for the course now. It's just kind of Games Workshop pricing.
Jesus. So then we also get this. Any excitement for this? What are we looking at here?
Not from me, but some people I know love the books. So it's like their first purchase in 5 years from Games Workshop.
I've read a few. They're kind of cool models, but they got pretty good rules as well. Apparently on the tabletop, they're all like little special characters, and they all buff each other. And you can have them. You can have Tanith. You can use Tanith on the tabletop and have these guys running them. It's all right. Like it's cool. Models are all right. It would be really good in Kill Team.
So just because I don't think anyone said it, have they? This is Gaunt's Ghosts.
Yeah.
And that is a fact.
And they are the Tanith firstborn or something.
First and only.
They're the only
these are the characters from the, and Gaunt is this Commissar Colonel, right?
Yes, Abram Gaunt, yes.
Abram Gaunt. And it's one of the Dan Abnett series of books, so people think he's a great writer. By
now.
40k standards, he is, right? I guess.
Yeah.
The librarian in me
Shots
does not like
fired.
to talk about. Well, I'm a librarian. I know what a good book looks like, and it doesn't have 40k on the front of it. I'm sorry. It's good. It's good for trash writing.
Nearly
I'm
every
not disagreeing with you
book.
here.
They're not great works of literature, but that doesn't mean that they're not enjoyable. Yeah. So I'd wondered about this because obviously this is Gaunt's Ghost. This is a set of iconic characters, but I couldn't help but feeling, because they'd stylized them, that it looks also like a monopose command squad. If you take the Commissar out, if they were going to do new Imperial Guards, and they're very monopose at the moment, and they wanted to do something that they'd never really done before, that could easily be, this is the command squad for a new Imperial Guard regiment we're about to release.
Maybe, yeah. The point is that they do represent specific people, though. So all of these are representative of someone who's been written into a book. So they're like...
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying... But you could...
The variation in the model that makes
arms.
it look roughly like a command squad is because there's like 20 people left. And these are all the people that are still in the book who are interesting enough to remember their names long enough to make a model out of them.
Yeah. They've just done a good job of keeping that consistency of a uniform and the style. I don't know. It was just a thought, because people have talked about, they've closed down a lot of the old metal regiments, and they don't necessarily want to make a lot of that stuff obsolete, even if they're not doing it. I just felt this is somewhere they might have wanted to go.
It's three guys with las guns, one of whom's pointing, so he's obviously a sergeant. Then it's a heavy, then it's a special, and then there's a HQ. I do kind of get where you're getting at. It is a command squad.
But it's the concept work that's gone in behind it. Do you know, to make another 30 models like this is a lot less hard than to make the first 5.
Right.
It was just a thought.
I think the Tanith First and Only were actually almost entirely wiped out in the book, so it'd be pretty difficult for them to get away with doing that. Yeah, but it's Cadian pattern equipment, isn't it? They got around that one.
All right, tell us about this one, James.
This is Dominion, which is actually
Dominion. Not the deck building board game.
No. I know very little about this except from that I like the look of the Crawl Boys. I like the direction that they've gone in it with the Orcs. I like that they are visibly distinct from normal Orcs, but that they still kind of match up in their own way. Yeah, they're Orcs. They're very Tolkien Orcs, but they're very Orcs. Oh,
we thought that maybe
we've lost it.
That's quite corrupt.
We've lost it. Technically, they're hobgoblins is what they are, but with their own name now, which are because Chaos Dwarves are coming later in, I think, 2022. They're doing Plastic Chaos Dwarves now.
Yay! I think.
Which are now called Duardin.
Duardin. I did wonder if they were going to stylize the new Orc boys like completely different like this for 40k, as we'll see later.
No,
they maybe didn't do that, but it was. I was maybe thinking about that.
The Stormcast Eternals do look nicer than they used to and stuff. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
No, go on.
The Stormcast Eternals, they've really updated the way that they look as well. The old ones were all a bit squatty and wide and a bit weird and very of their period, but the new ones here are way more shapely. They look like they've got their own thing going on. Fitted armor. Yeah, better proportion. And they got Terminators with Thunderhammers and Storm Shields. So they got that going for them.
Boom!
I can't keep up with the comments anymore. We need a full-time comment doer. There's still Battletech stuff in here.
Do.
I'll go make a drip brew whilst you talk GW. Oh, dear.
Yeah, Swamp Orcs.
Swamp Orcs.
They are Swamp Orcs. They're from the swamps.
They're from the swamps, mate. I can't really argue with that. Now this one. Can you see that? Has that come up? Yeah.
John Quill. What's going on?
Tell him that's from Brush and Quill, John. Tell him about this. Because Brush and Quill's not here.
These are Frenchmen.
Woo!
True fact.
They are Frenchmen. Dead.
They are French flank infantry These ones are either what's it's or doofers. Yeah.
What's it on
And
doofers?
You'll see.
Yeah,
Got
You'll
one
see
or the
that.
other.
Yeah, you'll see that there's 8 of them. He did say it.
Yeah.
Russian Core did say it in his video. You should go check it out. It's like grenadiers or dragoons or I don't know something. And they're based in 8s because that is the magic number for sharps practice. Apparently, is it sharps practice? Sharp practice?
It doesn't matter, to be honest. Just keep going. This is good
Russian
fun.
Quill's booing his own work in the comments.
Rubbish. Sorry. I like the
what is this? Hobbykit says, I hate these orcs, love their shields, nothing else to like about them. I mean, it's people have very different views on what orcs are supposed to look like, I guess. So yeah, this is some work Russian Quill's been doing a commission for. He's got a video up on it. I'm really sorry if I'm not keeping up with all your comments, people. I'm just a prick. We did a poll last week because if anyone watched last week's show, we had Drakinifel on here, and it was a lot more sort of history talk. It was mostly like us just letting an expert do the talk, and me occasionally chipping in with a bit of narrative where I thought there might be some gaps for people who didn't know the subject. To sort of see how people felt about not just that episode, but in general. 2 things is one that most people seem to think they wanted a lot more war stories in history, which I think we can probably do on the live show. But the other was that the runner-up, the second most popular one, was to just put Doofer. What would you like to see more of in the show? There was 5 options. Bottom one was Doofer, second most popular choice. We need more Doofer on the show. Yeah, so I can only assume that means more of what you're already doing, but mostly John, right? People want to see more John, or as Rose put it, mates. All right, few more pictures, and then we will go back. So I've got some John pictures.
Ooh.
Oh,
I seem to have lost John's pictures. Let me put the Orc pictures up, and then I'll find the John pictures again. Share a different screen.
Special treat for you guys. Once he finds them. Oh yeah. Yeah,
Right,
let's get Skarnir. Oh, what's happening?
Skarnir.
Right. Talk. Tell us.
That's a beast snagger. Go on.
The beast snaggers. Yeah, they're a new sort of sub-faction that all the clans, so orcs are divided into clans instead of like if you're comparing them to Space Marine chapters. So you have your different clans, and these are supposed to be a new sub-faction that can be taken by all of the clans. So it's a new thing they've come out with that everyone can buy. And yeah, they're beast snaggers. They're pretty much sort of kind of like feral orcs and very snake bitey.
They're pretty snake bitey, yeah.
Yeah, they're their own thing.
That is not a beast snagger. That is a brand new boy.
That is news today.
Boy. That is a brand spanking new orc boy.
What do you think then?
Nice.
What do I think?
My
heart is with the sort of modular chop and change kit, so I'm going to be biased in my opinion against it. I think it's going to be very monopose. I mean, the miniature doesn't look bad, but knowing the trends and the way things are going, how many poses are you going to get out of them? Because with the big kit, repetition already with like 10 models. So,
the problem with monopose is exact. I love the monopose stuff. For the Death Guard, they're really stylized, they're really unique looking each model, except as soon as you've got a second one, there's not that uniqueness is completely destroyed. So how are there 2 models that look exactly like this?
I'm wondering a little bit with that the Beast Snagger box that's coming out, whether or not that's similar to the Battle Sisters box that they released, where it's like they do monopose once and then there's a non-monopose version of it as well. So maybe they'll do that. I'm not convinced that that's how it's going to go. It does look like there's kits in that box, but yeah,
we'll see. Time will tell.
True.
What's this?
It's a new character they've brought out.
We don't have a label for it yet. Other than last year in August, they did a rumor engine that looks like it was it. That's what we got.
All right. It's got like a shotgun mounted on the side of its head.
Yeah. Surgically implanted shotgun is how you go with Squigs.
Wow. Just
It's
a
supposed to be
stick.
like his mount is like the Great White Squig or something like that. This is all new lore that they're creating and a new character.
Yeah.
It's new lore. That's okay then.
It's an especially feral squig that takes an especially feral orc to ride it.
Yeah, exactly.
I have 2 folders called live show photos. That's why I was running into problems, by the way, because I'm a prat. So going to share the next batch with you. So this is very different. This is some Jay Bizzle, what he's been up to this week. Check out that bad boy.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. Go on, get him. Go on.
Stick him, Grungy. So this is one of the North Star dwarfs, the Oathmark dwarfs that I'm currently debasing the other like 9 dudes. And he's going to be used in Hero Quest or Frostgrave or whatever. They're cool little models. They're a little bit taller though than a dwarf should be, I have found. But yeah, that's Mr. Dwarf.
Heroically scaled
Right.
dwarves.
Got a spear. And look, he's got a back as well.
Oh,
this.
mate.
Now,
hello.
Hello, sailor.
this is Trevor from Grand Theft Auto 5.
You can see the resemblance.
but with a spear and a funky little belt. Yeah, so this is one of the Vitrix Skyclad dude bros. Funny enough, you get a fair whack of like heads in the kit, but they all have exactly the same hairstyle and exactly the same moustache, just slightly different facial expressions.
As soon as I see that kit, I get a fair whack too. Don't worry.
Yeah,
that is a lot of pubic hair, man. I mean, that's a lot.
I've done it. You know, I've done him like he's got the hood down.
If that's what the viewers want, mate, let's zoom in. Whoop!
Zoom in.
There it is.
I took
That's what you asked for. Number
attention.
2, extra doofer.
Extra doofer. This is what doofer meant, guys. Penis. Look at that. So that's a wang on a miniature. True
that
fact.
is a
I got
wang
12 of these.
on a miniature.
I got
Mate,
12 wangs to paint.
Oops, on there.
So yeah, I don't know whether to do like war paint on him because he looks, excuse the pun, he looks a bit naked without something on him like that. I don't know though.
It'll make them quite distinct on the table as well if they're really.
Let's move on.
The ones.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's that. That's going to be used for SBQR. Random bits. These are Nelzor's Marvelous Miniatures range. With their deep cuts, I think it's called. You get these. They're pretty cheap. It's like, well, I say pretty cheap. It's like $4.99, and you get a couple of things like the brazier things at the back and books and whatnots. So yeah, $4.99. You get these. They come with beautiful mold lines on them, but they are primed and ready to roll. So a lot of this has just been done with contrast and then weathered up a bit and glazed on the mystical ball of doom. But yeah, this is just extra knickknacks for Hero Quest because
it's Dungeons and Dragons scatter terrain, isn't it?
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. Yeah,
you moonlight with a bent copper, don't you, and play a bit of.
I do moonlight with a bent copper. When we're not dogging, we play Hero Quest.
Mate.
There he is from the back.
That's his arse.
Right, okay.
A bum, yeah.
It's
a bum. That's the other side of the dwarf. This here is, I've got a fair few of these because I love monopose. When I say I love monopose, I mean monopose, not this shambles of current monopose, which is actually got like
injection molded,
badly posed models.
That's it.
Right,
don't try and pretend to be monopose. Be monopose. So this is from another MB game called Battle Masters. I don't know if anyone remembers that.
Hero Quest dude from them.
It does a little bit, but I assure you it's not. That's his arse. If you look at his happy face.
Oh God!
Oh man,
he looks concerned. Jesus.
He's like,
I'm not comfy here.
It's all right. He's just intently looking on. I'm going to use these for Lion Rampant as whatever do blokes they are and can be. So I've got a fair few of these, and I was toying around. So that's the first one and the only one that will be painted.
That is
How long until you decide to debase what you've just based and put it on a clear base?
I'm pretty good now. I've got it in my mind. Any ancients, any fantasy is going to be done with the Jarvis, the Kaiser Jarvis 3-tone, 3-spice scatter flock. Do for what's it?
Excellent.
And that's for true. It's only going to be Blood Bowl and 40k. I think are going to be on clear, and any other generic sci-fi whatnot.
Just trying to catch up in the comments. Icy Fence, in case if it was unclear, that was not a cod piece. That was just a dick.
Yeah, that was a Willy.
Is that Johnny B in miniature form? Obviously. So Skarnir, have you ever painted a wang yourself?
I haven't. Thankfully, orcs in 40k are asexual and don't actually have dangly bits. So I haven't had the pleasure.
Don't know what you're missing.
Awesome. What do we know about Oathmark? I mean, I've seen the boxes and miniatures, and I know like North Star are like distributors for them. I think in my head I confuse it with Saga, but it's nothing to do with Saga. Is
it's not. No, it's quite a different beast. I'm not entirely sure. I know nothing about the game itself. I know that another local lad on YouTube called Scruffy Crow. He's quite into Oathmark, so that's worth checking out. Scruffy Crow. James DeGray is his name. He's a good lad. So check that out.
We're not a shower, apparently, is your Skyclad dude. The Brussian Quill is defending himself. It's cold in the UK. Yeah. This idea, the term, what naked means is open to interpretation over a period of time. I just don't believe people living in central Germany fought with their arse out. It's fucking cold, man. I'm just not seeing that. But anyway, a lot of sausage for your money.
When you said you were painting Willys, I thought you meant like Willys Jeeps. You know what I mean?
No.
I wasn't expecting kilt wangs, like
No, actual Willy. Yeah.
I know people who use subtext, and they're all cowards.
John doesn't have a Gallic army, a Celtic army. I've got one. We do now, yeah. But he
on
just
the desk, yeah.
When he realised you could get tackle out dudes, he just needed to have some. What somebody saying last night said if they attack the camp at night, do they have to get undressed before they can defend themselves?
yes, they do.
Will any pubes on that model find its way into an eBay purchase? That should be a regular quest for guests. That we planted this idea, Scar, that if you get like some secondhand Warhammer, like from a thrift shop or from an old friend, there's usually like an unusable biro, a hopeless paintbrush, some dried up paints. But among the mixed things that are in this Space Marines is at least one pubic hair.
Just the one.
At least one. Has that been your experience?
Not that I'm aware of, but it probably has. Now that you say it, just hold on for future reference. If you run out of nerds in your local area, you could just probably get one cloned. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, my favorite response was someone said in the comments last time I mentioned it. Said it's funny that because whenever I buy a bag of pubes from the charity shop, there's always a Space Marine in there.
Yeah, that was a winning comment, Matt.
I was like, hey, we've only got 10 minutes of the show left, so I guess we better do the thing. I'll get this ready. We're mostly caught up with comments. As the show gets bigger, guys, it's getting harder and harder to deal with. I'm sorry if you feel left out. I do try to at least skim read them and pick some of them out, like drive the conversation. We are going to do the draw live for the 2,500 subscriber giveaway. We are giving away Band of Brothers. We'll read out the comments. Should we have a quick whiz round, see where people got to with their hobbying tonight while I get this ready? I have got the chocolate brown part of camouflage on some of these. So they're 20th progressed. John?
Tasty. I have debased 6 dwarfs, and I'm just going to do this one now, and then that's all of them. Hurrah! That's where I got to. Mr. Gibble.
I put wash on it. I put wash on all of them. No.
Oh, boo.
Still not a tiger. I apologize.
Boo.
What'd you get to?
Skarnir.
And I managed to brush prime some Battletechs. There you go.
Hey,
What
my
flavour
God.
battle mechs are they? Can you name them battle mechs?
They are a Mad Cat, a Vulture, and a Summoner or a Thor. They're all clan. So clan invasion mechs. They're all Omni mechs. So yeah.
Omni mechs.
Those are all.
I want a Warhammer. True fact.
I'll get a few. Warhammer is actually in this Lance pack, so you can get them now.
Oh,
Boom.
Warhammers.
I want a Warhammer and a Marauder and some other things.
You can get a
I think one of
Marauder.
the things I struggle with a little bit at first with Battletech is Battletech isn't Robotech, and I thought it was when I was a kid. And I was trying to find all the Robotech mechs for this. It's like, no, that's a different IP.
Different game.
Different game. I don't know if the Robotech was a game, was it?
I think so.
It was a rule set for
the
sure.
Marauders in the other Lance pack.
Ooh,
Johnny B.
that's different
There
looking.
you go.
It's a bit
They've upgraded the look.
new sculpts. Schmexy.
I like it.
Mm.
Very schmexy.
Mike Wolnoff is here, another one of our new members, and an old friend of mine from the Isle of Wight time. Right, so I'm not looking down now because I'm mixing the dough and bits of paper going everywhere. So I'm gonna, I'm trying to do this as fairly as possible.
That's from Mike.
Okay.
He's saying the Mad Cat rocks. There's the new sculpt of it. Looks pretty sweet.
Boom.
Okay. This is my right hand. This is my left hand. So I still don't know. Skarnir, left or right?
Right. Go on.
Right. It's this one. All right. I'm trying to do my
Right.
level best to show you that I've not rigged this. All right. Let's put a cut in here.
The winner.
The winner is Stephen Burrows, who says Band of Brothers.
Stephen
Burrows.
So
You
Steve
are
Burrows
our winner.
went
You can
2000.
join last year's winners. Whitman Prize from the
Congratulations. If you hear Stephen Burrows or if you hear it, get in touch with us. Contact us on the modelingforadvantage.co.uk website. We will post it to you when you get in touch. Congratulations. So there was just under 200 entries, guys. I'm sorry if you didn't win.
Wow.
The prize, it was provided by Warlord Games generously for the subscriber giveaway. This is a sponsored thing, I guess. I mean, I say sponsored. I just said, can you give us a prize? And they said, yeah, all right then. It's not, they don't get a lot out of it, but they did provide it, and it's generous of them. That's Bolt Action. If you are interested in Bolt Action, of course, we have videos on how to play. We are already looking at doing another how to play video when this new Japanese Island Assault comes out. But like all of these things, if us playing the American Civil War was difficult with the accents and being a little bit potentially dodgy, borderline racist, I think us playing Japanese could become really dubious. There might have to be a lot of cuts. Because I was raised on war movies with Japanese in them, but not in a good way. Not in a way that is suitable for 21st century sensibilities.
Maybe I'll take the Japanese and I'll slow you down. Yeah.
Slow me down a little bit. Yeah. Sorry about that. Mike has been watching some of our Bolt Action stuff recently. He started playing Flames of War from watching the videos, got really all into it. Now he's getting into Bolt Action. It's good to see.
Excellent. There's a web store for that kind of thing, isn't there, Kaiser?
Mate, modelingforadvantage.co.uk. If you are in the if you're not in the UK, it's not that we don't love you, and it's not that we refuse to sell to you. It's that it will probably cost more in shipping than the product. If you really want to buy from us, I'm perfectly happy to sell to you, but you would be absolutely mad trying to buy from us because of the shipping costs, because it will be more than the cost of the product. But if you want to, contact us through and our basic prices for all our war games products like this and many more besides it is 15% off full retail. The price you see on the website is the price that we charge. Shipping is usually, I think it's like £3.50. It's basically second class post with a little bit on top to pay for the box that it's getting sent in. And we don't list products that we don't have. The stuff on the website is accurate, not, we don't, which is why the list changes from time to time. It's literally, that is in the spare bedroom. If it's on the website, we have got it. And we do the selling through the website. So I'm real shilling for myself now. Because of the whole Patreon thing, it was just an alternative method of doing it. Rather than giving us a tenner on Patreon, for which I can't really guarantee you'll get anything back. Just buy your miniatures.
More doofus.
More doofus. The reason we were able to put memberships into YouTube is YouTube can give you something back for that money. It can give you the emojis and it can give you early access to it. And I feel you literally know what you're paying for. And I feel much more comfortable with that than saying, give us some money on Patreon and I'll pretend that I love you. That's all.
If you want us to pretend that we love you, we all have separate OnlyFans accounts, which you could get in the comments down below at the moment. So.
Mate, just if you want me to tell you I love you, £2 in the chat, you can have it anytime. That's us. Congratulations again. Skarnir, let's remind the beautiful people at home where they can find you and what it is you do.
You can find me over on the YouTube channel Pastic Craic Gaming, and I do tabletop wargaming, a lot of Battletech, a little bit of 40k Orcs. I dabble with other bits and pieces. I'll be doing battle reports for Battletech, playing through a campaign with a friend of mine when we can play games here again. And I do hobby hangout streams Sundays, 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. Ireland and UK times the same. You get me? And that's it. That's where you can find me.
Yeah. So are you still in some sort of lockdown then in Ireland? You're not allowed to
our shenanigans are slightly different to the UK's ones. Things are starting to ease up now, so you can have one other person who's visit you now, who's masked, but that's only been in the last week or two. Like it's been a different ball game over here to the UK lads.
It's literally your country's language is responsible for the word shenanigans, though, right? I mean, from there. All right. Yeah, I think that's probably around about it for tonight, guys. We've got Idic Beer on. I can't remember whether it's next week or the week after, and that's really shoddy of me.
Necrons.
I'm going to talk about some Necrons and more, I think, is what he's going to do. It's been real pleasure having you here, Skarnir. Tonight was probably dominated a little bit by talking about this. And there was a lot of people here, I think, because of the live show. Perhaps because of the giveaway, perhaps more.
Are you sure it wasn't for me? Like,
well, I mean, it could have been. It could have been. I didn't put your picture up on the thumbnail because your boyish good looks might just overwhelm us. Do you know what I mean?
I know. You'd have to just come back with a stick at that point. You know what I mean? It would have been too much.
Can you repeat Skarnir's channel again, please? It's the Pastic Craic Gaming. And it's Craic with the Irish spelling.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's in the comments.
Plastic.
The spelling, I mean.
Yeah, I was going to say. I don't think we can actually put links in here in the live show. I will add one into the description field.
Yeah, I'll try put one in the chat, see if it's working.
Excellent.
In there. Oh, look at that. People just arriving. There's Jason has arrived. Literally. Yeah, mate. Hello. Matt Capelli said, I'd love to buy some doofers, but it ain't happening in the US, unfortunately. No, honestly, I'd tell you £50 worth of product and it costs £60 to ship it. It would be mad.
We had a comment earlier, I think you can comment on as like a parting shot. When are you playing some Team Yankee?
Who is that question for me?
Yeah.
John? When are we playing some Team Yankee?
Funny that. I may have dabbled with it and the Kaiser just the other day.
Oh, did you?
So for anyone that's played Flames of War and thinks, Team Yankee is essentially the same as Flames of War. It absolutely is, but there is a critical difference, which is that the equipment, there's so much more technology involved in it. Everything is so much more capable. Bigger guns, more powerful guns, powerful armor. The problem is that what it's done with the game system, I don't know whether it's a problem, is it's pushed it to the extreme of the envelope. So basically, if you hit something, it just dies. Everything is super lethal. So we found, like in Flames of War, if you play mid-war and early war, things don't necessarily have the firepower. So yes, that bullet's gone through, but it doesn't do enough damage to wreck the tank, so it's bailed out. You know, things are hopping in and out of tanks. You miss, you fail to penetrate. In Team Yankee, I had 8 tanks fired, all of them hit, all of them killed. It's like, and it's a 20 model game still. Bob, 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 bob. I was like, whoa!
It's quite a shocker.
I look forward to a lovely 15-minute video.
It does, exactly. We've got 23 months. Yeah, that's what we did. But we were like, should we do this again? Like, no, mate. That's how this game is. You know. Yeah. What's this?
Is damage simultaneous though?
Damage. No. I take my turn. You take your turn.
See.
Yeah, I mean, there's still tactical nuance in the game. It's just one of those
games that do that kind of thing. I mean, I can't think of any right now.
All right, guys. I think that'll do us for now. Then we'll see you in a week's time. We've enjoyed the show. On Friday, though, we have not got the Team Yankee game coming out. I'm just finishing the editing on that. We've got the first SPQR game. We have played it. There's no willies in it. They weren't ready. The willies weren't ready.
I am watching.
I mean, you've seen those models. Those willies are not ready, man. They need warming up. They need a Rosie to get them ready. What did we learn about SPQR by playing a couple of games? If anyone's got it and they've maybe seen a demo game or something, but this game seems all right and you may play it for the first time as we did, I think this game isn't all right. I say we learned 2 really important lessons about it. One is do your level best to prevent a big melee happening involving all of the units in the middle. The game is very poorly optimized to have a single combat with multiple directions. And because of an objective-driven game, it's very easy to do that. If you place your objectives like that, everybody's got all the models in the middle. Oh, these 2 are fighting that one this time round. These 2 are fighting that one twice. It gets really messy. So put a ravine, frankly, down the middle of the table will really improve your gameplay. But just disperse your objectives either side of the middle is the important thing there. And the other is it is a game system that you don't notice on first glance, but defense is much cheaper than offense, or not necessarily cheaper, but it's more common in the army list. So you can take your basic unit, and then you're thinking, well, if I give him chainmail and a spear, he'll be quite a lot better. So, well, he will in terms of he'll live forever, but he's gained no more killing power. And now that starting armies, it's quite easy to build 2 forces with no combat power, but loads of stickability.
Right.
And it's a boring as heck game because what you end up with is 2 sides with re-rollable 3-up armor saves that hit on
bouncing
falls.
Off each other with sticks.
And and just nothing happens. As the goals, I'm not saying it's an optimum way to play, I'm saying it's a more interesting way to play. Take the option to have the lighter armor and the more dudes because you get things happen in combat. That was just kind of we played a few games. One went well, one went really badly. We just kind of look back, tried to synthesize. There's no Jeeps in SPQR.
I was kind of thinking, you'll have to give my code of US olive drab those willies, but yeah.
Yeah, not those kind of willies.
Nothing worse than drab willies.
Yeah. So coming on to saying that Team Yankee, the T80 is impervious on the front armor. It absolutely is, but it is a game where modern tanks can move 14 inches and shoot twice, and we've only got a 4-foot table. So it seems really grim at first. The side of that tank is never that far away. Anyway, that's Team Yankee. So look, guys, we'll see you in a week's time. So I hope you enjoy the SPQR video on Friday. We're not saying it's like a pro game, but it's a good scenario to have a look at. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.